The crisis in the southern Philippines has already left more than 100 people dead, including many civilians, stoking fears of an expansion of Islamic State in Southeast Asia.
Government must put an end to this.
Well, that's yet to really be determined. It's sort of a report card to gauge how the government is doing in various fields. It could include the economy, law, social matters, and to see how Islamic it is in these various areas.
Islamization has been around for a long time, but it has gained more popularity now than ever. Radicalism has spread across Southeast Asia in a critical speed. Indonesia, as the regional power and as the world's largest Muslim-populated country, has experienced turbulence in their political environment. With Indonesia being impacted, how can this change the dynamic of ASEAN relations?
Oh, that's not a new thing. That has been there since the beginning of this republic. Even before the declaration of independence of Indonesia, wish to establish an Islamic State in Indonesia has been there since the beginning of this republic. And now it's been corroborated by the return of the students who in the countries where they studied previously, they were involved in activity groups, really religious groups, and very active. That's why now the wish is rekindled to revive this dream. Okay. But the problem still remains very much the same as it was before. Well, when we talk about the size of the verses, the legal verses in Islam, and we compare that to the totality of the verses that you can find in the Quran, you find more than over 6,000 verses in the Quran. But the verses that relate to law is only 200, some 200 verses. So you can see the Quran lays a certain importance on the legal aspect, but Islamic aspect cannot be just squeezed into a body of lawmaking. Yeah? It is a way of life. It covers, in fact, the whole totality of the aspects of being a human before someone who is the Lord, that is God.
Yes, Marawi is a city in the island of Mindanao in the Philippines, and last year they have problem with the influx of radical Islamic movement in that particular town, and not only the influx of radical movement, but it also influx from foreign fighters, and these groups claim itself to be a part of the international Islamic State organization. Marawi is the most populated Islamic city in Mindanao. Mindanao for centuries already have conflict problems. They have not only about this they have many Islamic movement over there, but they also have movement against the government of Philippines in terms of creating their own state. If you ask me whether it's going to replicate to other places, such as in Indonesia, my answer would be no, because we don't have an area that have that kind of problem like what we have in Marawi at the moment. We do not have international response. The Philippine government is the one who's responsible to take care of this issue, because this is their internal problems. Of course, like the United States helps in terms of assisting logistically, but those would not send troops or anything like that. This is considered to be in domestic problems, so ASEAN will not interfere. At most, probably we will, like Indonesia as a neighboring country, will guard with our own borders to prevent these terrorists or this radical Islamic to escape to other countries. But in terms of intervention as an organization, I think we just have to increase our cooperation to prevent radicalization like this movement happen. But there will be no intervention among each member of ASEAN.
The Islamic sentiments and politics has been existing since the beginning of the independence. It's not new, however. Some of the religious groups wish to revive the dream of the Islamic State. Islam should be de-radicalized, transformed into something contextual. The way we address the Quran is to avoid radicalization of the Quran for Islamization movement. Another concern is this movement will likely gain sentiments from other international radical groups. The Marawi case would unlikely happen in other areas such as Indonesia, because we do not possess similar issues. Our Islamic movements are diverse, with different beliefs and goals. It is unlikely to gain sentiment from radical international groups. However, if this radical Islamization does occur, the ASEAN community will not interfere. ASEAN will only increase the cooperation to prevent radical movement from happening. Yet, there will be no intervention among ASEAN members.